missing persons report.
Yeah, and absolutely come forward with that.
That's all it is the truth. So there's nothing to hide in that coroner's report. There's nothing to hide by not having Callie take a polygraph. And if the truth comes out, and this was assumed.
How do you deal with it? I had to sneak the other day when I was with Josie. I had to sneak and talk to him. I had to sneak and talk to him about his sister.
Makes me think the worst. Like, did you do that to all three of them?
Hey everyone, how are you? Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you guys all stopping by. Hi, Alex Erickson, CDT, Tammy, Yanni, Nikki, Mark, Broken Dishes, Single Mom of Four. Thanks for being here, guys. Amanda, and anyone else I didn't name, I see you, and I'm just also looking at my notes for tonight as well. We are at the 9-month mark, sadly, for little Summer's missing child case, 6 years old now. And we aren't really much further as far as progress and answers, but we do have a few updates. And the updates are pretty much Jose coming forward. Give me 1 second, share my screen. This channel had been looking for Jose to come forward for a while. I think I made this post 2 months ago. It's time we hear from Jose. I don't care if he's rumored to be out of the country. I think he holds some answers, or at least important insight. Did Candace really forget his name, or was she trying to keep his name hidden? And I'll show you Candace speaking about Jose on the interview room months and months ago. People kind of, I think, thought that I was maybe reaching or, being a little dramatic with this post 2 months ago, but it just got to the point where I was sick of going round and round with the parents in this case, and I was sick of not hearing from Grandis in this case. And it got me to thinking that, you know what, like there is somebody else who was an outlier to this family within the last year of Summer's life. It seemed, he was introduced to her, Jose. And thank you so much, Lisa, for becoming a member of our research team. So there was just a lot of things that kind of was like going around in my mind, thinking, this is sort of an important piece to the puzzle, somebody who was close to the family, even though it wasn't right around the time she was missing, to me, it was important to hear from him. So yeah, high criminality. Yeah, we're talking Jose. Finally, we get to hear from him, and yeah, you guys know that we've just kind of wanted to hear from him. And there's just been hours upon hours of interview and talk time with Jose, like to the point where I was almost like, wow, how does this guy just suddenly have hours on hours to just sit here and talk to Justice for All? Like, I was just kind of like amazed by it. I don't know what you guys thought. Like, if you guys thought that it was weird that like the interview went on for like over 5 hours, but it was just kind of like out of left field. So let me just look at chat. Yes, Jose has a unique behind the scenes insight from the Wells household. Yeah, in the Wells world. Suspicious to you. Yeah, like all of a sudden it was no problem for him to just put aside or take all this time. But I mean, obviously it is an important reason. It's for a missing child case. But yeah, it really was a long interview. I agree, Melissa. Hey, Havish, thank you for being here. I wonder why he chose that person at that time. Exactly. Like it was just like the timing of it. So think about it. Andrew Hiltz, H's dad, came out very vocal as soon as YouTubers started questioning where Jose was. And he comes out off the bat sticking up for Jose. And Jose kind of just, I don't know if he like reciprocated the same type of like bromance, but it didn't seem so. I don't know, guys. We got a lot to go over. There's been a lot to digest. I have notes and I have videos, and yeah, I guess we'll just get right into it. Hi, Insanely Confused. Let me just look. So, where should we even start? You guys tell me if you can hear this audio clip. I'm going to play it like up to the microphone. So just let me know if you can hear this.
And just the general concept, I'll give the floor to you right now.
Okay, so basically I was going through a real bad divorce, and I basically had a psychotic break, and I was staying with a friend of mine that actually was going to move down to Tennessee, and I wound up going with them to go down there, and where we were supposed to stay, the place had fell through. We didn't really have anywhere to stay, and my friend was, his children's mother had lived down there, and she had a friend that basically had a room, and no one wanted to stay there, but because of what I was going through, I decided to just stay in Tennessee, and I wound up renting the room from Candace. And they were great to me, They were actually real nice. They helped me out, and so I was basically staying with them. I was almost there a good 6 months living there.
Okay.
And
from approximately when did you was you in Tennessee staying with the Wells to approximately when did you leave?
This would be maybe, I believe it was February or March. I remember it was winter time.
Mm-hmm.
We wound up going down there, and I left like a little bit almost before we were touching fall, you could say.
Okay.
So he's claiming first interview that he got there February, March, and he's saying that he left around fall time. And thank you, Pointer Lover, for becoming a member of the research team here on this channel. Appreciate your support so much. And then he left around fall, and we know that the DV situation with Candace and Don happened in October, and apparently he left after that. So yeah, Mark said he seems somewhat honest, but I believe everyone, LOL. At least you're honest about that aspect. And hi, Punksy. So yeah, let's just keep listening.
I was staying with them at the time, and they was helping me. At the time, Donnie wasn't in the residence at that time. He was actually in Utah at that time, and I was renting from Candace. She was there with her mother as well, and her 4 children. Well, not her 4, because Josie actually wasn't there either. Josie was with Donnie Wells in Utah.
Okay.
So in the house, it was basically Wayland, Wyatt, and Summer in the house. Okay. And so while I was staying there.
Okay. And I'll just keep playing a little bit of clips.
Defensive relationships wise, they found I was cute or whatever, but at the time, because of what I was going through. I really didn't want to hook up with no relationship type deal. I was just trying to get myself together, you know. Okay, so basically one night we were drinking and they got drunk, and Hunter and her admitted that Hunter lost his virginity to Candace in that house.
There you go.
Yeah, but supposedly.
So, yeah, that'll just get us started a little bit. And Candace pretty much said Jose is an effing liar. He said he likes chicks with rhymes with chicks, but starts with a D. Let's see what else she said. And this is in Benny Key's chat that Candace is making these statements. She claims that he didn't pay any rent. What else? Okay, so we'll start there, and then I've got other things that I want to play for you as well, actually. Hang on, let me see what this one is.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know what
There's some. He said yesterday he threw his phone in the water.
You're asking me what? Why is my 3,000 miles away in the water? Okay, so
Yeah, you said yesterday that you threw it.
Okay, the reason it is there, I might as well just come out and say it. Just
I don't
you know.
know. I wouldn't do it, Jose.
No.
We have to move on. No.
Yeah, I was.
No, please don't say it, Jose, right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah,
speak to you
trust
privately about that, but don't say it right now.
Yeah, trust them. They're good.
Headlines. Do you remember where you were and your reaction?
Well, when I found out about that was when I was interviewed by the FBI. That was I swear to you, because I basically went off grid. I had no social media. I didn't even have a cell phone at the time. You know, like I completely isolated myself from the world because my mental health was not there, and my therapist felt that it would have been good for me to do that because when I started to go to church, I started to read the Bible more often and do self-reflection on my life. What could I have done to make myself a better person? You know, every day I wake up, I always say, I want to be better than what I was yesterday. You know, and that's how I think of my life now. But that was the first time I found out about Summer.
Did they just came to your house?
Excuse me?
Did the FBI just literally knock on your door or come to your work?
Yeah, they not my door. They went to my son's house. And my son contacted me because I finally, activated my social media account back again. And I was reaching out to them because when I left, it was on very bad terms with my family. And I was trying to reach out to try to, fix the bridges that I burned, as for the healing process. And my son literally contacted me. And he's like, Dad, FBI's here looking for you. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, they need to talk to you real bad. And I'm like, okay. And I called them through the social media app. And, when they introduced themselves, they was like, do you happen to know a Candace Bly and a Candace Hare and the Don Wells? And I'm like, yes. And they were like, well, we're investigating, a disappearance that happened in Tennessee. And I'm like, a disappearance? And they're like, yeah, do you remember Summer? And I'm like, yeah. I said, you two about Half Pint. And he's like, what? I said, Half Pint. That's, because she's so little. And that was what I called her, because she was so tiny. And they were like, well, she's been missing. And I'm like, what? I'm like, did she open the door again and got out the house and they can't find her? That was my first remark. Because she was known to do that. Wow. Oh, yes. So when, as I said, through all the research, door. You a bold-faced liar, asshole. You knew that girl could open the door and walk in and out as she so see fit. You were the ones who was negligent for not keeping an eye on her.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, 2 more little 40-second clips to get us kind of warmed up for my notes. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
I believe that something happened to her, but it wasn't on purpose. I'm thinking maybe the kids were playing with her, she got hurt, and it was real bad. And then because they didn't want to get in trouble, maybe I'm not really sure. But what confused me the most was how you gonna say that somebody went into the house when you got all them dogs there? Like, I'm telling you, them dogs would bark.
Yes.
And if they didn't know you, they surrounded you. You know, like really surrounded you. Still remembers pushing her on the scene. I still remember the day that I took her out of that bath when I found out that Dawn was in there with her. I'm the one who removed her from that shower. I stood there with a towel and I called her and I'm like, Summer. And she's like, yes, Jose, come out of there, baby. And she's like, okay. And Dawn, started, that's my daughter. I don't give a shit who that is to you. You a sick fuck. You don't do things like that. You crazy. I got a daughter. I got the daughter about taking the bath with my daughter.
Yeah.
No.
Bobby Cat says Jose.
So, okay, that start the conversation and get the room, going. Thank you so much, Brooks. Really appreciate your super chat. And Pointer Lover said, I love your channel and I love your chat group is great too. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have really good chats here. Last night we had a good chat too, once I got the microphone working. But yeah, you guys are awesome. All right, so now let me just switch up the visual here because we've heard from Jose. We've reflected on the fact that, for a while now, we've wanted to hear from him. Let's just yeah, this will work. All right. So it looked like from what I was seeing in chat as I was playing those clips is people either really believe him, like seem very confident in what he's saying as factual and honest, and you can rely on it. And then I have other people, a smaller portion of chats that are seeming to say that it seems as though he's contradictive at times or something's not really adding up completely. Even that last part, like about the shower and grabbing Summer out of it when she was in there with Don, it was like the chat as he was saying it was like, this is weird. Like it was just, I don't know, mixed feelings about certain things that he's saying. So what are you guys thinking? So how long was Jose gone from when Summer went missing? He left fall, yeah, like October 2020. He left after that incident where they called 911. Candace called 911 on Don because Don was accusing Candace of sleeping with Jose. So, yeah, it's a doozy. Hi, Farmer. Amanda said, if Summer is out there, I hope somehow she knows how much people are, yeah. Yeah, so many strangers getting together to find her. Yeah, D-Irish, Don wouldn't let that go. Why would a man walk in another man bathing? I pretty much wrote that in my notes. Like, why, wherever it is, but pretty much my thoughts, since we're just there on the topic and it was laid out there, My thoughts exactly. Like, why would somebody feel so comfortable enough? Because at the same time, in the same breath, Don is also, or I mean, Jose is also saying that he only lived with Don for like a month, but yet he's comfortable enough to approach Don while Don's in the nude. It just is like very strange, like the visual of it. You know what I mean? I'm just confused by that. So I wrote, Don leaves because he's in Utah with Josie. And then Jose swoops in and, suddenly he's the man of the house with Grandis and Candace, um, and the rest of the children, minus Josie. So, I mean, even just that in itself is strange. Like, just the timing of another man getting there, when Don's or gone. It's just strange. Is Jose the man Candace had an affair with? Apparently, but now they're saying, or Jose is saying no, that he never slept with Candace. So even that is like wishy-washy. Some things just are not lining up. Apparently, even though it was a rumor that um he was in the Philippines, like when Andrew H's dad came out on the scene on YouTube, he pretty much was like, leave Jose alone. He's in the Philippines right now with his new girlfriend. And then it was, oh, he has a wife in the Philippines. So suddenly, like, even that small discrepancy for me, I was like, wait, I thought that it was a girlfriend. No one could prove that he was in the Philippines. It was just very strange. And apparently now it's come out that, yeah, I was never in the Philippines. Sketchy. Like, why lie? Doesn't make any sense, really. Don threw a beer bottle at Jose and it chipped his tooth during that incident before Don gets arrested and then put on probation in October 2020. He denied sleeping with Candace and Grandis. Allie claims that both Grandis and Candace wanted Jose. And Allie doesn't say that Jose didn't sleep with Candace. So I don't know. Um, Jose said that he hooked up with Allie. It was one time when they drank together. Weirdly enough, it seemed like Allie was like letting them refer to Jose as her like ex-boyfriend in this interview with JLR, which I'll show you like a few clips from that too. Everyone wants to know, why did he toss his phone into the ocean? And did he toss his phone into the ocean before or after he found out that, FBI was looking for him? And hi, crazy crime chick. Don supposedly didn't know Jose was even there. And yet Jose was there for 6 months. And Candace, in that 911 call, we listened to it earlier today on CDT from the 2020 incident. And like he's saying to Candace, like Candace is saying to dispatch, he thinks I'm sleeping around with someone and I'm not. And Donnie's like, well, you made me think that that's what was going on, or something alluding to the fact that like Candace was playing games and like made Don believe that that's what was like happening. Like didn't say a clear yes or no. I don't know. And then what else? What else? Now Andrew's brother Jeffy, his friend of Jose, is saying Jose sent him the phone, but Jose's saying it's at the bottom of the ocean. We know pretty much the certain things that Jose was saying that aligned with a lot of the things that we already knew and suspected, like the abuse, the filth of the house. I mean, all that kind of, those stories were kind of in everybody's story. You know, that it's been consistent. I think we all know that that's what was going on. Jose has said that Summer has wandered off before, and you just heard in those clips him pretty much say, like, first thing I thought of, did she open those back doors and wander out again? And no, criminality. Jose did not show his face at all. But Candace seemed to be confirming that it was Jose. So I'm in the although I did question, is this really Jose? I'm pretty much believing it was. And then if it's not, then maybe it's another prank from Candace. So he pretty much alluded to the fact of not being in a good place mentally, borderline of like psychotic break, not well at all, like going through a divorce at that time. And then we have H's dad talking to their mutual friend slash brother of, their friend of Jose, who's saying, no, he was in good spirits when he rode down there with us. And they're claiming that they went down there in September. And Jose is over here saying it was February, March. So it's like, why? He didn't want a relationship, pretty much said the home was dangerous. Candace is not the mother that she portrayed herself to be, like on the interview room, like when she's saying that she walked Summer up to the doorway and told the brothers to keep an eye on her. Like that pretty much is not Candace at all. He said that he actually doesn't even recognize Candace now, which if you look at the pictures, like I had just pulled up on the screen, Candace has like long hair. She's wearing a bra. She has like dye in her hair. Like her and Summer both have like their hair dyed like a blue or like a green. Definitely does appear to be a different person. Like we've seen other pictures of Candace and you've been like, wait, what happened? Like you had long hair, you looked feminine in a way. And now, and I have nothing against, like, I mean, dress how you want, but like it just seemed like she really did change as a person. It kind of like raises like a red flag. And then when Jose was pretty much like, I don't recognize her, I found that interesting because I noticed my own like seeing like a shift in her pretty much. Let me just look at chat and see how you guys are doing. Ellison said, why didn't Justin let him elaborate on why Jose threw his phone in the ocean? Justin cut him off. Yeah. And at one point, Jose was like, I just hope that Chris is watching this. Like he meant Chris McDonough. And he's like, because I like pretty much alluding to wanting to talk to him. And Justin was like, I'm working on it or something like that. And I'm just thinking, like, why does he need him to work on it? Like, I don't know. I just hope that I'd love for Chris McDonough to interview him. I would just love even for mainstream media to interview Jose. I mean, he is listed as a witness on the police reports for that 2020 incident between Don and Candace. Even though he had a bottle thrown at him, he wasn't listed as a victim. It's just he would be a witness possibly just to get like a character vibe of, what was going on Ben Hell Road. They talked about the copperhead snake that was in and around the place that looked very dangerous, and they couldn't find it and worried about Summer because of it. Hello, Hollow Waters. And I just don't know, like, okay, so if she was afraid of the copperhead snake, then why would it still be likely that she wandered off? Like, wouldn't she be afraid of the snake? Like, so it was kind of like contradictive in a way at times because they emphasized how, like, they always feared that Summer was going to get bit by it. And then in the same breath, he's saying, like, oh, yeah, she would wander out there. And again, we'd have to imagine her being barefoot wandering around. Oh, bye, Punksy. Good night. Yeah, Amanda says she called the cops on Don for what? To get more time with Jose. I wouldn't put in that position, but if I was my husband will come first and a stranger would have to go. I'm pretty sure even in the 911 call, she's like, oh, wait, no, I think she might have been talking about Don, but she said at one point, like, I think he left. I think it might have been Don. I don't know. She had to protect, think about this too. So Don gets arrested that night and she puts a protective order on him. Like, she didn't have to do that, you know? Like, the cop probably said, like, you should do, if you're in fear of your life, which it says in the police report that her and her mother, Grandis, were in fear of their lives, you know, worried. Um, you know, it's just interesting that they took it to the next step of the protective order and then let it go after 4 days or whatever. Don spent like a week in jail and they put the protective order against him and then removed it. Broken dishes. Thank you so much for the super chat. Can I get an amen that the level of perceived truthfulness and reliability has been set so low in this case? Like Danto's infernal level. That said, he sounds the least coached, scripted. Time will tell. I agree. But then you know what else I was thinking is like, it seems like everything that he's saying was stuff that we already knew, you know? 1 second. Let me just take a drink of water real quick. Like, I guess it did sound more like dramatic and visual and like he'd really been there. Um, so it did sound more like believable, like you were saying. I totally, totally agree. And I'm also just like, okay, so another adult was witnessing this horrendous, you know, environment and nobody said anything. No one said anything. And how, you know, it's just like, okay, convenient enough. This guy is on the bridge of a mental break. And now he's like crying and regretful and feeling guilty because he didn't say anything. Like, so what? Do we just show, like, is this just not suspicious? You know what I mean? Like, do we show like, oh wow, you know what? Yeah, you were in a rough spot. Like, you weren't able to call 911. But it's just like, what is there always going to be like is that a valid excuse? Pretty much. I just don't know. I don't know everything is truthful, you know? I don't know, Allison. She said, if you're around a child being abused, doesn't that make you an accessory to a crime? I don't know. I truly don't know. I wonder if it would be like a he said, she said thing unless there was proof. Yeah, criminality. I have a problem with him lying about how long he was there. That's what doesn't make sense. Um, certain things are just like not making sense. The way he talked about Summer and everything, it did seem like he was definitely there like 6 months. CDT said, I agree. I feel a lot of was stuff we knew or could be inferred from what we've seen. Yeah. Like, I know the cockroaches, like, on the children's arms when they would scoop in the dog food was just, like, a terrible visual, and even the little kitty story, but I'm just like, is this embellished? Like, is this true? You know, we know that the parents get stoned and high and, drink. We knew that. So, let me just look through. My handwriting is so bad, like and I was a server and bartender for years. Like, when I bartended, I didn't have to write anything down. It's just you don't have to. But serving, like, I'd write things down. Like, I'm looking through, and it just reminds me of, like, serving when I'd be like, "Does that say lasagna?" But trust me, guys, I was a good server. Um, The dogs were aggressive, but they're not the same dogs that are there now, so I found that detail kind of, like, irrelevant. Um, Nails were exposed. There was a couch in front of the door downstairs. It was true, that Summer slept with the parents. Summer was very capable of opening the door. Allie was praised for having a heart of gold. Jose made meals, and during the time that Don was around him, Don would kind of put him down and make him feel like less of a man type deal because cooking and stuff wasn't typically a gender role job for a man in Don's eyes. The fights were regular occurrences between Don and Candace. Don has no respect for the law. Candace was crying really bad that 2020 incident in October when she called 911. Don has no conscience. He's pretty much like a Jekyll Hyde type character, and we pretty much seen that about Don. Like when he's with the media and he was sitting there after the protesters were down there, and he was like, just, even on Dr. Phil, isn't that totally different than the Don we see like in my intro? So yeah, they labeled him Jekyll Hyde. So Jose wasn't driven to North Carolina. Grandis drove him to South Carolina. That was another detail that was corrected. Jose feeling guilty. And again, like did I feel like it was genuine? Yeah, like when he was saying that how has remorse of, and guilt and this and that. Like I do feel like maybe he does feel badly about something. But I don't know exactly what's going on in somebody's mind. You know what I mean? Like, what exactly do they feel badly about? I don't know, because you have to also remember, too, that Jose has his own children. And I was also thinking about it like Jose and H's dad, when they came out on the scene and they came out on YouTube, one of the first things that H's dad and Jose have said is, I'm not a perfect father. I've made mistakes. I got the vibe that Jose's children like don't really talk to him. Like, I don't know. Did anyone else kind of get that vibe that he's not close with his own children? And he said at one point, Summer reminded him of his own daughter. Like, I was just like, okay. And I'm not trying to like throw too much judgment, but at the same time, like, I'm just wondering, where these feelings of guilt and regret and stuff like that are like coming from. I don't know. It was just something that stood out to me. So quick to point the finger at them for being bad parents when he's not like close with his own children. I was just kind of like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. Yenny says, am I confused, or did Candace or Don at one point mention that Jose was gay? Don said that he was gay. Candace said that he liked chicks with male genitalia, I guess we'll say. I don't know I don't know. But apparently that's not true, according to Jose. So, yes, her playing in the fridge was a regular hiding spot. So that didn't really surprise him or worry him. He said what everyone should sort of be concerned with is the fact that the boys didn't go fishing / swimming with them that day, because that was definitely an activity that they would have done together. So yeah, I'm pretty much all I had written was Jose doesn't seem to be there for his own kids. So him praising Summer is nice, but I still have questions like, just everything. You go through a divorce. I understand that's hard, but to live with somebody else's family, like, which seemed so horrible according to him at the same time. I don't know. So yeah, it definitely I felt like he spoke of her like he knew her longer than September, but H's dad is saying September time. So I don't know why. Maybe because they've dug themselves a hole so deep already, given a timeline, that they're not going to backtrack now. I don't know. According to Jose, Summer hated clothing, and Jose didn't say this, but I'm just remembering Dudley and other people pretty much saying the same thing, that Summer would be naked a lot of the time. The picture of her in the truck, of her sleeping, didn't really surprise Jose. He said that that would be typical of her. There was a part where he talked about meth users on their property that lived near their property, and he'd seen them, quote, having a romp, wink, wink, on the lawn, and their clothing was all over the lawn, and Don flipped out on them. And Don goes to Mexico, and his sister had to go grab him one time. Apparently, he goes for weeks at a time. He's gone to, I don't know, I guess you could call it a trap house, and has gone on like binge hiatuses. Don has. Candace has to go looking for him. Jose slept in the playroom that was like in the basement, and that's where the peephole was. So let me just check back. Hi, Deco, Painter, and T. Hello, Superhero. Yeah, definitely some lazy parenting going on. Just looking at chat. Yeah, I agree, Wicked West Paranormal. Thinking Summer is dead breaks my heart, but if she is, at least she's not living with this nightmare life on that hill. I agree. It's sad, but yeah, not one person, not friends, neighbors, school, or church even cared enough to follow through on getting help for those kids. Breaks my heart. I agree, Grits. Criminality said, Allie says Candace stealing Jose was the end of their friendship. Has Candace stated why the friendship ended? No, I'm pretty sure her response was she had no idea. Like, she was like confused by it. And that she just has like a problem with her. Problem with that too, downstairs was bedroom for everyone until the addition, and that was only for the two older boys. Yeah. If Jose is to be believed, at least he gave us a better idea of what summer is like. Parents didn't give much. That's true. If we have to look at a positive, yeah, well, that's the thing, is like I had said, you know, if Jose was there, I said this 2 months ago, let's get some insight from him. Because I was sick of hearing the things from Allie and Dudley, people who might have like a vendetta against them. Like Jose spoke fairly kind. He wasn't as brutal on Candace. In fact, he didn't even say really that she like hit the kids or anything. It was just like they would push her buttons. Like, I don't know. Okay. What else? Flipping. Okay, Allie said Candace cheated on Don. So here's the thing, is some of my notes are Jose, and then other ones are Allie's recent interview with JLR that he put out. That was her a few months ago when they were all down there for the protests. Allie said Candace cheated on Don with strangers from gas stations. That she'd meet them and say, want to go fishing. They'd hang out, go back to Ben Hell Road, and they'd stay for days at a time. Like, it sounds like they would do drugs together, in my opinion. And yeah, so that was just another revelation recently, since this is 9-month updates. That was another thing that was said. So back to Jose, he talked about a leather belt that Don had and would threaten to hit the kids with, and did hit the kids with, used it to intimidate the kids. Candace wasn't as violent to the kids. Like I was saying, Allie's mother, Sherry, said that she never even saw Candace hit Summer. So my thing about Jose is, he goes off the grid. Why, though? Like, I know he's saying, like, he had, like, problems, this and that, but okay. And of course, we can't always believe everything, but according to Andrew and this Jeffy guy that knew Jose wasn't in a depressed state when they went down there to Tennessee. Maybe they were hiding it. He was hiding his depression. I don't know. At one point, Andrew does say, like, Jose's been through enough, leave Jose alone. But, okay, so you're getting divorced. Why not go off the grid then? Like, why not just go off the grid and just stay in Tennessee and just be like, okay, yeah, this is just going to be my life for a little while. I'm going to check out. I'm going off the grid. But then Jose says in those clips that I played that his therapist told him to go, it would be a good thing to go off the grid. Where did this therapist come in? Because according to Andrew, H's dad, he was working on some fishing boat in Alaska. Like, I'm just not understanding where the therapist even came in. I don't know. I just don't understand going off grid. And then when he was talking about FBI got a hold of his son, and his son said, Dad, FBI is looking for you. Did he just like go back on grid at that point? Like, just suddenly was like, oh, let me check my social media. And oh, my son tried to get a hold of me recently. That whole timeline didn't really make sense to me. I didn't know if you guys made sense of like the order of operations of that aspect of it. Jose said that Candace violated trust by giving the children, or, H alcohol and stuff like that. Jose said that some activity was going on with the minors involved, and Candace's kids described in detail to Jose what was going on, like, because they were peeping at him. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. So Jose was gone before the red Subaru was bought, and he suspects that it was in exchange for Candace taking back the protection order on him. Hi, Roxanne. So the 911 incident happened in October 2020. Jose is saying that he left after that, but he left before the Subaru was bought. So I don't know if the Subaru was bought in November 2020, maybe. But it must have been, because Jose is saying that he left in the fall. If it was later, like December, then he would have left in the wintertime. So he left in the fall, but before the Subaru was bought. Jose calls H's dad a manipulator and a liar, but if you get down to the meat of him, he's a decent guy. he said that Allie is pressing charges on Candace, but H's dad has also said that that's sort of a he said, she said deal right now, and they don't have like the proof. Some people, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, just some comments I was seeing in some of the chats that were saying that they thought, and I don't watch Jody Sue enough to really know, but I was curious if any of you guys have. I'd seen comments that said that they thought that Jose was watching YouTube more than he was saying, and that he was specifically watching Jody Sue. I don't know. So back to that recently released interview with Allie. At one point, she said that Andrew, H's dad, only came out to get the reward money. So, like, at one point, H's dad was trying to get H away from Tennessee and away from Allie, and pretty much tried to have like a group of people take H and bring him to himself in New York. And Allie said in this interview that got released today that the only reason why H's dad wanted to come get H was because he found out about the reward money. So I thought that was interesting. And again, this recently released interview with Allie is from months ago. And in another on H's parents, I'm just going to call them H's parents YouTube channel, they were talking, and at one point H's dad was like asking Allie to recall the day that Summer went missing. I'll play you the clip too. And he's like, and that's when you called me for help. And I just remember thinking, like, why would she need help? So we'll listen to that in a minute. But I thought that that was interesting that H's dad is talking to Allie, and Allie's talking about the day Summer went missing. And then H's dad was like, and that's when you called me for help. So that could be a lot of things, but I just thought it was interesting. Yeah, I just in my notes talking about Jose feeling comfortable enough, even though he claims to have only lived with Don for a month, but he felt comfortable enough to go in the shower area and pull Summer out when he's there naked. Pretty much Jose said the head shaving was because of lice, in his opinion. Yeah, just reading. Pretty much have gone through like all these notes that I've said. Said that, or Candace said that Jose never paid rent. But Jose is saying that he'd mow the lawn and clean. It wasn't secure. The doors weren't secure. Summer could leave if she wanted to. The F word was always in Don's vocabulary. He said Allie always bought food. Don was a functioning alcoholic. Don always accused Candace of sleeping. Well, that's the thing, is like it says Don always accused Candace of sleeping with Jose. So that would like indicate that I don't know if it was like always, then they must have been around each other long enough for Jose to say something like Don was always accusing her of that. It says Jose said that he wasn't leaving until Candace said so, but Don wanted him to go. Candace claims he was there a month and 3 days. What? No. Sorry. Although, I mean, maybe. Who do you think's telling the truth? Jose or Candace? So my thing is, if at one point Allie called 911 on Candace to get her kids back, hi, True Crime Productions with Prairie Boy 77. So Allie called 911 in September 2020 because Candace was like holding the kids and said, if you come up here, I'm going to blow your head off. So then why in June 2021 would Candace be allowed to take H for the day? That is just like not making sense. I believe you, CDT. She said, yep, on Benny's. I'm almost 100% positive. I'd have to check notes. I don't believe he was there 6 months. I don't know. I feel like it was longer than, I don't know. I really don't know who to believe. Like, I could not tell you truthfully. And the fact that, like you said, that he never mentioned the trip to Wisconsin or whatever, I don't know. I also found it convenient that a lot of this stuff he was saying about Don, Don's locked away. Don can't really defend himself. And certain things I was wondering if Jose was just trying to get his narrative out there on the subject before Don and Candace got to. Pretty much just got the conclusion that, now everyone's throwing the idea that because Jose said that she did get lost 2 times that he recalled. So now everyone's like, okay, so then did she wander off? And, until we get more information, the things that are on the table for me still is an accident, which Jose thought was possible. Some sort of planned abduction or sale. Not a random stranger abduction. And then just because, like, you have to put everything on the table, wandering off. And the percentages and the likelihood of all these possibilities, I'm not going to go really in depth with, but I know that I'm working through the possibility of certain things tonight in this live stream. So give me 1 second. Drink of water. How are you guys doing, by the way? Prairie Boy said, I didn't like how Jose was trying to make himself seem like such a wonderful guy with the cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. Dude, where were your kids? Yeah, and that's the thing is I thought, which we were kind of talking about before, he was like praising himself and like talking about this and that, and then at the same time I was thinking, like, we have to keep in mind, like, he has his own children, like, where are they're his kids, and they're probably wondering, like, where's my dad, especially if they were going through a divorce at the time, then he just left the children. I think that people just get a little overexcited with something new in the case, like, oh wow, we'll hear from mom. And you have to remember also, like, things are never what they seem, you know I'm trying to figure out, looking at my notes, where to go from here. I played the clips of Jose. We went through the Jose notes, shared the community post of Jose. All right. Now let's see what videos I want to play for you guys. We listen to these. Okay. And thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. So we'll just do like a little recap, a little bit of what, we know about Don and Candace and everyone's relationship with Jose prior to Jose speaking out. And one thing that I've kind of always noticed is, at first in the interview room, Candace like acted like she didn't know Jose's name. And I'll show you that clip. And then also here in this video, Don doesn't name drop Jose until Chris McDonough name drops him. And then in the interview with JLR, same thing. It seemed as though Allie was sort of like acting like she didn't know his last name, which it could be true.
This road here in Hawkins County was where Summer Wells was last seen 1 week ago. It's also where her father, Donald Wells, was arrested back in October over a domestic assault incident. That incident led to her mother filing an order of protection against him the following day. Tonight, Summer's father tells us that he and his wife have put that incident behind them, and all they want is for their daughter to come home safe.
That's all we can hope for, is for God to produce a miracle for all the Christian folks around here, because there's so many people praying.
Authorities say Summer Wells' parents have cooperated during the investigation, but according to Hawkins County court documents, this is not the first time officers were dispatched to the home on Ben Hill Road. They were there on October 14th for a domestic assault. Summer's mom, Candace Bly, told officers Donald Wells came home drunk and saw someone else in the house and believed that Bly was cheating on him.
I was in Utah, so she was thinking one thing and I was thinking another, but once we got to talk and figured things out, we smoothed it all out. I mean, it's just we weren't on the same page, a lack of communication.
The following day, Bly filed an order of protection against Wells. In the order, she says Wells drinks and throws things and that he was mentally and physically abusive. She said, quote, "I am afraid for my children and myself."
Because we were fighting, of course, people are going to tell the police whatever to get their way. We worked it out. She's apologized to me.
4 days later, Bly asked for the charges to be dismissed. Wells pleaded guilty to possession of a handgun while under the influence and turned the weapon over to the sheriff's office. The domestic assault charges and unlawful possession of a handgun were dismissed.
She's went to the district attorneys. She even talked to the judge and told him that she made a serious mistake, and that's the end of it. She didn't get hurt, and I never hurt nobody.
Hit him in the head with a beer bottle. It was full of beer, but at the last second, I just threw it to the wall.
Is this that Jose guy?
Yeah, and so I had all three of them jumping on me,
Right.
So if you're okay. So as you just heard Don say, I didn't hurt nobody. But then we also hear Jose say that, he threw a beer bottle and hit him and it broke his tooth. And then Jose like lunged at him or something. So I'm not sure, like we just seen Don lie for one. And Jose is claiming that the Subaru was bought for Candace, allegedly, in his opinion, because she dropped that protection order. And then here, if you listen to the whole interview with Don, they're talking about the incident, but Don doesn't say the name of Jose. And then finally, he's had to say, like, is that Jose guy? So it's just like interesting that like no one wants to name drop Jose. Like, can anyone explain this to me? I brought this up like months ago and everyone was just kind of like, it was like crickets. I'm like, do you know, like, listen, Candace acted like she didn't know his last name, or, it's just something I've noticed, guys.
Yeah, the Jose guy, her and Candace's mother were all jumping on me. And the cops got called. Candace, after I threw that beer bottle at the wall, the cops got called. And that's when her mother's, said, well, he's got a gun in the glove box. I said, well, it's just a muzzle loader. I mean, I'm allowed to have a muzzle loader. And she says, yeah, but he puts real bullets in it. Oh. And she's,
Is that how she hurt her knee?
Well, she was pushing me. She kept pushing me. Jose would say something like, I remember the one thing he said is, once a cheater, always a cheater, because his wife left him, or cheated on him, so he's taking it out on me at this point. And he, every time he would say something, she would push me. He'd go say something else, she'd push me again. I never hit her or nothing, but the last time she pushed me, I pushed her out of the way, and I was going to hit him with that beer bottle, and she fell. I didn't even realize she fell, or I pushed her to, whatever. I was just trying to get her out of the way because I was going to nail her. And so, of course, she went and called the cops and told them. Hey, she didn't tell them the whole truth.
Yeah, what is that? So, yeah, tell me the truth. Because
she said that I was pushing her and hurt her and all this and that, But my intention was just to push her out of the way so I could hit him. I didn't want her, if me and him was going to fight or whatever, I didn't want her right there. But she was acting real funny. Another thing is, too, though, on her behalf, so I was at a party in Utah at my sister's house. Well, I told her, the truth is, I was at my sister's house at a party just to eat the free food because I had to go home, and I was staying in a trailer to get to sleep so I could go to work the next day. But what she heard was I was partying, I gotta go. That's all she heard. So that, after we talked about that and everything, we straightened it all out. And I was like, no, that's not at all. I was just trying to get some food and go home.
So
she
thought you were cheating.
Yeah. So that's how. Yeah.
And you thought she was cheating.
Right. Well, she wanted me to think that, but she wasn't.
What did Grandma think?
She's never liked me, but I think it's changed now. I think me and her, we get along a little bit better now, but at first we hated each other.
Well, why doesn't she like you, though?
She don't think I'm good enough for her daughter and all this and that.
Interesting. And what was she doing during the fight with Jose?
I'm not sure. I think she was standing there or whatever.
And that's the night she hurt. Her mom hurt her knee that night, didn't she?
I don't know if she hurt her knee or whatever. I have no idea. Her knee's been messed up.
Yeah. And
for a long time.
You said she was getting in the way when...
No. Well, Candace was the one pushing me.
Okay.
Jose would say something, and Candace would just shove me as hard as she could. I mean, she was shoving me hard.
Okay.
So it was about 5th or 6th time she shoved me. I just was trying to push her out of the way, and I was going to, like I said, I was going to get Jose. But, afterwards, we straightened it all out. After we was able to talk and see each other's side more clearly, we forgive each other and just went on,
Sure.
All right. And according to Jose, you know, he heard a bang, came upstairs. Candace was on top of Don. So here, Don's over here saying, like, she was pushing me. It almost aligns with what Jose said. You know, he came upstairs and Candace was on top of him. And we do know that, like we'd said earlier, that Don did cheat on Candace at one point with that other local with Candace in the house. So we'd always been wondering, CDT, who did Don cheat with? Because he admitted it. He's like, I made one mistake. And then that's why he assumed Candace was trying to make him jealous with Jose. And Jose denies it. All right. So what do I want to move on to now? Oh yeah, let me show you. Candace, not in my opinion, seemed as though she didn't want to name drop Jose either.
I don't really remember what this guy's name was. I know he's a Mexican, I think. And she
That Jose guy?
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah, she wanted him to stay. I don't really remember what this guy's name was. I know he's a Mexican, I think. And
That Jose guy?
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah, she wanted him to stay.
So, you know, apparently she couldn't remember his name. What next? What next? Now, what do I want to show you? Should we do that? Yeah. All right. Yeah. H's dad. And then I'll share H's dad and Allie's recent audio. And then I'll share the JLR and Allie one. And then I'll go through if I think she wandered off. And then I'll go through with that will involve some dog info from like dog sniffing stuff. And then that'll conclude everything. Hope you guys are doing well still. Thank you for being here. Okay.
Okay. All right. Any more, Melissa?
No, that's all. Go ahead.
Has anybody had contact with Jose since he got taken to North Carolina? As far as you know, Allie or Leslie?
Nope, and I prefer not to hear from him ever again because there's these things that you post on Facebook like 1 through 10, what am I to you? Well, my oldest had it up on her Facebook one day. And we turn around and he goes, number 10, your crush. LOL. I'm sorry, you're a 43-year-old man. What in the hell are you doing? Tell my 15-year-old daughter you got a crush on her. That's nasty.
Like you're gone.
Nasty.
Blocked from every platform.
A grown man who hasn't been around any of them since 2020, you're going to sit there and cyberbully him too. It's like, you want to cyberbully somebody? Come at me. I don't mind. I can take it. You know what I mean? And that's how I look at it. I mean, leave Jose alone, leave Hunter alone. You want to sit there, you want to do research on somebody, you want to sit there, you want to talk down about somebody, come at me. This man who hasn't been around any of them since 2020.
You're a Dallas.
So that sort of aligns. I don't know. B. Havish. I don't know. He said, why is he being aggressive? That's the thing. He did not speak out until people wanted to hear from Jose on YouTube. And then all of a sudden, H's dad was like, blah, 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 blah. But before that, people were looking at H and talking about H. And H was on YouTube. Silence from Andrew. Second people want to hear from Jose, he started barking like a little chihuahua. And then Jose comes out and he's calling Andrew a manipulator and a liar, but then said he's a decent guy when you get down to the meat and potatoes of him or something like that. It's just all like, what the heck? Yeah, leave Jose alone. It's crazy. All right, what now? What now? Okay. I have an audio on my phone, but I want to share something different on the screen. So give me a second to find something while I play the audio. There. Okay, so this is audio from H's parents pretty much talking about stuff that came out after H spoke.
I don't know. This whole thing is like fucking. One, it does not make sense. Two, it's all like. Where do I go? Like, how do I express how I feel?
Before I continue, can you guys hear that? It's Allie speaking. Just want to make sure you guys can hear it before I continue to press play. Okay, thank you, CDT.
Like, I believe something happened to her.
So how does it?
So he asked Allie, H's dad asked Allie on his YouTube, what do you think, your thoughts on Summer's disappearance? And she said, I believe something happened to her. Yeah, we know that. Can you elaborate a little bit? Like, we know something happened to Summer. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm literally pulling my hair out.
But I want an honest opinion from you. How do you feel about?
Like, how do I express how I feel about her? Like, I believe something happened to her.
So how does it? But I want an honest opinion from you. How do you feel about the situation, knowing that all this bullshit and truths are coming out now, this late in the game? But how does that differ from the way you felt when you first got the call?
No, it's sickening. It's the more and more it goes on, and nothing, like, she's not been found, or all this and all that. It's sickening.
Yes.
To know that there's a 5-year-old beautiful little girl out there, either dead or alive somewhere, and she deserves justice either way. And it's pretty sickening. It's pretty sickening how the fucking parents can go make a YouTube and say it's all about them, but never mention their child.
But my question is this, all right?
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. My phone just died. Hold on. Let me just look at chat while it's charging. It'll just take a second, guys. But yeah. She said, I believe something happened to her. And B. Havish says, why would she think something happened? Yeah, no, my phone is always on the verge of dying. The male voice crime curious is H's father. He has his own YouTube. It's called Andrew Hiltz. And I've done like a few clip videos of him just because obviously I feel Hunter is a vital role in this whole story. And yeah, I've just kind of been watching him closely and feeling him out, and him coming out so aggressive when people started looking into Jose kind of always was like a red flag for me. Amanda said, "Story of my life, Amber, LOL." Yeah, that snuck up on me. Okay, Vanessa says Andrew is a liar. He exaggerated. He has no credibility. According to Andrew, Jose was in the Philippines and he's not. According to Andrew, Jose didn't speak to law enforcement and he didn't need to because he was nowhere around them at the time. And then come to find out, Jose says, yeah, actually, I spoke with FBI in like 7 to 8 days of her going missing. So, we've already caught Jose's dad in like numerous inconsistencies. And I don't know if it's on accident or what. But yeah, Allie pretty much is saying that something happened to H that day that traumatized him, and it seems to be a story that they're sticking to. Okay, my phone's turning on, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, D-Irish, it is an iPhone. Even if Jose wasn't around, but does he know what happened? That's a good question. For some reason, this guy is off grid. Just goes off grid before the disappearance. Okay, I'm going to mute it so that I can find pretty much where we were. Because my phone is on, but I don't want to replay the whole thing. Give me a second, guys.
How does it, but I want an honest opinion from you. How do you feel about the situation knowing that all this bullshit and truths are coming out now this late in the game? But how does that differ from the way you felt when you first got the call?
No, it's sickening. It's the more and more it goes on and nothing, like she's not been found or all this and all that. It's sickening.
Yes.
To know that there's a 5-year-old beautiful little girl out there, either dead or alive somewhere, and she deserves justice either way.
And now
it's pretty sickening how the fuck parents can go make a YouTube and say it's all about them, but never mention their child.
But my question is this. All right. When you got that call, how did you feel? Now, I'm pretty sure you haven't told any YouTubers or anything like that how you really felt. How did you really feel when you got that call?
When Hunter first called me and told me that Candace was trying to call me because Summer went missing, I said, bullshit. The bitch is just trying to get a hold of me. She's pulling my leg. I didn't know she was actually missing until I was in the drive-thru at the cookout getting everyone dinner that night. Because that's what we do after practices and games. We go out as a family and we eat. And I put on my phone, I brought up Facebook, and plain as day, there was her missing picture. And my heart sunk. My stomach was in knots.
All right, that's enough. You're starting to cry there. I don't want you to get upset. Thank you. That's all. I mean, everybody. And then there's something about a parade where you went ape shit on Candace.
Oh my God. Candace was seen at the parade. I didn't go to the parade. I did not go to that parade. I was, oh my God.
All right.
I did it at home or at work.
And
but there was people that went ape shit at the parade, yes. But it was not me.
All right, well,
if I was there, yeah, I would have went ape shit. But do I?
Bullhorn,
you know,
Bullhorn Betty, just absolutely, completely, much love for this comment from her. Says Allie was more upset than Candace once she knew she was gone.
Yep.
And that hurts my heart because I mean, we have our flaws. We all do. We all made our mistakes. It all happens. And, you know, you and I aren't exactly buddy or chummy or whatnot, but we do get along. And to see a friend of mine that hurt over something she has no control over kind of pisses me off and makes me want to cry. And trust and believe it's not cool.
No, I think about that little girl every single day.
And that's good.
And every time they go searching for her, my heart sinks. It's like, is today gonna be the day? Or has anybody seen her out there? Like, it pisses me off that the mother's drunken on YouTube, crying about her man and herself. Bitch, it ain't about you. It's about your 5-year-old child that's missing.
Yeah. I mean,
like, if you're a normal human being, you wouldn't be on YouTube crying. You'd be out there looking for your child. Because let me tell you, from a mother from a missing child, my child was 12 and she took off because she thought the world was greener. Grass was greener on the other side, and her friends were all this and that, and she thought she was grown. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I hardly drank.
Oh yeah.
It took me 3 weeks to go to work. 3 weeks, because I was off that time clock. Because to me, finding my child was more important.
I remember you gave me the call.
And then when I was at work, let me tell you, my phone was only ringing for, I don't care who it was. They called me up and I was in the middle of my shift. They said, someone see my daughter? I'm leaving work. And I'm going to go haul ass and go find my kid.
Oh yeah. But listen, I remember you called me. I believe it was shortly after the police left. You called me because you know that True calls me and talks to me, and you told me if I hear from her to try to find out where she's at to let you know to help you out. Am I right?
Yeah.
And I'm all the way up here in New York. But True calls me, and you know that. And, you know, it has come out of her mouth a few times where she slipped up, called me dad, but I think that's out of habit because of Hunter calling me dad. You know, she's a good girl. She makes her mistakes. She's a beautiful young lady. And he wants Cam on. I don't care. Cam, if Cam shows up, I'm pretty sure I got a mod or two that will just say no bueno. So, but no, this isn't an interview. This is just two friends, two parents talking and trying to help where we can. And we're not discrediting Jose. There's Allison.
Like I said, after I left Ben Hill Road, and I left his little ass up there with his little heifer.
Yep.
I can't say what went on.
Nope.
I can't back him up. I can't say he's lying about it because I don't know.
What?
I don't know what they did when I left. And to me, I don't really care because it's not my business.
Oh, we got Benny in the back. Hold up. Hold on. Keep him there. Yes, sir.
What's up, gang?
You see it? What's up?
So that pretty much was the end of my screen recording. And I just took down some notes right now, listening to the Allie. Some of it, like when she was talking about picking up the food for Like the night that Summer went missing, like I just felt like she was like over explaining a little bit. Like when she's like, that's what we do when we have practice. Like you guys can replay it and listen to her again. But I don't know, just some of that just seemed a little bit like wishy-washy in my opinion. What did you guys think of her little, her talking there? She said that incident, like, remember there was all that drama about Allie being at the parade and said, "Ha, ha, ha, they got your kid." And Candace was telling people that, and Don was telling people that. Now we have Allie claiming that she never went to the parade and she didn't go, quote, ape shit on him. Yeah, she knew he was recording insanely. Yeah, she willingly went on there and spoke. Let me see what else. So, I don't know, sometimes when I listen to Allie, she sounds like straight up and just straightforward, and then other times I'm just like, she seems unsure about the answer of this herself. So, again, it's just everyone seems to be truthful at times, but then other things it's just like, oh, why does it seem like you're not telling the truth? Or why does it seem like you've said something else prior to this? It's just the same with every single person. Jose, Ellie, Candace, Don. The list goes on. Let's see, what else do I have written down for this part? All right, let me switch to some JLR clips with Allie since we're on the topic. And then we will go through some dog information and weigh out the possibility or if I think that she could have wandered off. And then that'll conclude. All right. Yeah, 50-50 for everybody on if they're telling the truth. I agree, Vicky. It's like, okay, like some stories they have a good stride, and then other ones are just like, I think blah blah blah. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so these were just clips. I'll just play the audio. And then I'll show you like the last like 10 minutes and we'll pause and listen to it.
Like and you know. Those kids come here in the summer before summer died. They're filthy, and so is the mother. They never cooked dinner. They always ate frozen pizza and whatever else. The little one, Waylon, he showed up.
Yeah, what about that 7-day event?
I don't know about that church.
The night that she went missing, Candace called me up about.
So they weren't really holding
1 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
It seems like an act.
I said, Sherry, she's gone. I go,
It seems like an act.
What are you talking about, Candace? You're drunk. She goes,
So they weren't
Summer's
regular
gone.
parishioners at the
She's
church.
missing.
They went
She
once
walked
in a
out of the
while,
house.
but definitely
I was like, what the Harry?
She said she walked out of the house because I'm walked out of the house. Whoa, she didn't say somebody took her out of the house.
She said she walked out of the house.
She walked out of the house. That's what Candace told you that night at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
What else she said?
That was about it because I hung up on her.
Yes, son.
So at one point, Candace calls Sherry, who is Allie's mother, and says Summer's missing, and told her, which aligns with all the early reportings from law enforcement and the media, Summer walked away from the house. Okay. So I don't know, like, have these people been watching YouTube? Oh yeah, they've been on YouTube. Are they being truthful, or what kind of narrative are they playing? Like, we don't really know. We don't know. All right, let me share my screen. Hello, Miss Justice. from Canada. And we're going to be sharing just the last 10 minutes, but there's over 40 minutes interview with Allie and Sherry and everyone else that you're more than welcome to, and I urge you to watch on JLR's channel. If Ahmad is listening, if you wouldn't mind, actually, I can copy and paste it right now too. But yeah, we're just going to play the last 10 minutes and pause and discuss it. And there's plenty more to watch of it too.
Like she owns the road.
At 2:30.
Okay, 2:30 p.m.
And then that's it.
What
But
was
you
your
don't
reaction?
know. She never said that. You don't know if Don actually went to work that day or not.
What was your reaction when you found out Summer is officially missing?
I thought she was lying to me because I thought she was drunk, and I told her that, and she goes, "No, she's gone."
I was at the football field. My phone was dead. It was in Leslie's van charging. So my son called Leslie's.
So some people have kind of been like, oh, how convenient. Allie's phone was dead, when all this was going down and H couldn't get a hold of her, etc. And here, did you just see her kind of like chuckle? She was like, my phone was dead. My phone was in Leslie's car. And she was kind of like laughed about it. And I don't know, like some people get nervous laughs. Some people get duping delight. Maybe it's really nothing. But I just thought that was kind of like interesting that she kind of did like a little laugh. And like, I don't know if it's a nervous or is she telling the truth that it just happened to be dead at that time? Some people have speculated it was to hide her location. Like, we don't know. Like, and I'm not going to pretend to say I trust anybody in this case because I do not trust anybody. But yeah, and then I also noticed the other thing is like everyone pretty much says that like they assumed that Candace was drunk and they didn't really like take it serious. And I just think that that's like so sad, unfortunately. Like if you ever had to share news like this, it's just unfortunate that people would think that you weren't being truthful.
Summer's missing. I said, stop playing.
I thought she was lying to me because I thought she was drunk, and I told her that, and she goes, "No, she's gone."
I was at the football field. My phone was dead. It was in Leslie's van charging. So my son called Leslie's phone. I said, Mom's got to call Candace. Summer's missing. I said, stop playing with me. She's just pulling my leg to get me to talk to her. And then, it's just like, and so we got in the van after football practice. We went to the cookout. Was ordering everybody food. Got on my phone, and plain as day was the emergency child alert on Facebook from Hawkins County Emergency Services. I said, holy shit, she's really missing.
That's when you called me.
I called my mother. I said, check this. I said, Summer's missing.
And I said, no, you're bullshit.
I said, yeah, it's on Facebook. So then I hung up the phone with her.
Oh.
I called Candace.
Yeah.
She didn't answer.
So did you hear that real quick? She said, I called Candace and she didn't answer. I think JLR is just giving like a little scenic view a second. It like came out of nowhere. But I think honestly that every channel following this has their own method and way of bringing information. And yeah, if people are interviewing people involved in the case, I'm gonna watch it.
I tried calling her on Facebook. No answer. Tried calling her on Snapchat. She didn't answer. Used my daughter's Snapchat. Didn't answer. Came here. She called us back. No shed of tears, no nothing. I said, what's wrong? She goes,
Would you rather share your salary or do a dare?
get this thing off of me.
So it makes me wonder if Candace was at the police station or dealing with something and, then called her back. And yeah, so that's what's going on at that point, I think, maybe.
what do you mean this
Summer's gone.
Summer's gone? I said, what do you mean summer's gone? Like, I started interrogating her. I said, what do you mean? I just seen you guys at 2:30 when you dropped Hunter off. What happened in between? Well, we came home and we planted flowers on the side of the house, and Mom was in her trailer. Summer wanted a piece of candy, so she went into Mom's trailer. Mom gave her a piece of candy. Summer wanted to go into the house and play with the boys. So I watched her go into the house and play with the boys. I went in the camper to fix Mom's bandage on her knees.
Then she went back
So
to
then
the
she went
house.
back. She goes, I went back over to the house, asked the boys if they seen Summer. They
I thought it was interesting. She sort of like got tripped up in the story, like after she like fixed the knee. I don't know. Maybe it was nothing, but it's still kind of like the whole story when they get home is very wishy-washy as is.
said she was downstairs in the basement playing. I said, did you look in the basement? Yeah, I tore it apart. I said, was the door shut? Locked? Was it open? That door always stayed shut. Locked.
Yeah.
And there used to be a couch in front of it. She goes,
So yeah, it seems like a lot of people remember a couch being in front of the door, and a lot of people say the door was always locked, and then other people say that, like Don has even said that the door wasn't locked. So it's just something in the whole story from each person that's just not consistent. Like it should always be a thing. Like if people come to my house, they know that I lock the door right behind me. Like it's just habit. Like if you lock your door, I believe it's just habit. And everyone was so close to this house and stayed the night at this house, but they all say different things about the back door.
she's gone. What do you mean she's gone?
What was her? What was she? Was she crying?
No. She didn't shed a tear.
No tear.
Not one tear.
No, she faced.
She wasn't hysterical. She was
No.
just calm.
She
Did
called
you
me on the
actually
phone.
see
They seen
Summer
her
in the
face. She
car?
wasn't crying.
When they pulled up,
Yeah.
she was.
So you saw her.
She did.
She
Yeah.
was.
So her like not being emotional or shedding a tear, do you guys think that that has anything to do with maybe like she took like a Xanax or something? Honestly, CDT, I don't see a couch anywhere when Chris was there. I don't know. Definitely don't remember seeing a couch.
She alive?
She was sleeping, but it was hot out that
She
day.
was sleeping.
They had the windows rolled up. It was hot.
The windows were rolled up, and I wanted to give her a hug,
No
and she
air
said I couldn't give her a hug.
So it seems like, did you hear that? Grand Bun, Allie's grandmother, Sherry's mother. They had the windows rolled up, no air conditioning. It was hot out. So it seems like they think that that's strange. And everyone has said, like, oh, you know, nothing to be unusual about. Like, she had long sleeves, long pants, windows rolled up. It was hot out, no AC. It seems like people are thinking that's strange. It seems like, yeah, I agree people do act differently with each situation for sure. But I swear, Granda said that Candace was hysterical. And what's her name? Robin said that she was freaking out. Something along the lines of her emotions being wild all over the place. So it's interesting by the time Allie gets a hold of her, allegedly, she's, whether it's true or not, it's just interesting that everyone's kind of, it seems like even like Candace's state of mind from people around and talking to her vary that day. D. Irish said the car was stopped though, so how would they know if the AC was on or not? It's like they were watching too closely of her interviews with Chris McDonough, because she said that the AC was on or whatever, or wasn't on, and that she doesn't like the AC. I don't know. That's what I assume, that they'd been watching Facebook groups and they watch YouTube. CDT said, I don't think Allie walked to the truck. I think her and grandma were probably sitting outside when they dropped H off. Yeah, I think that's a possibility too, because it seems like in Allie's interview here, she says something like, I thought that they were just trying, or Candace was trying to get me to talk to her, or something along the lines of like, was making something up about her being missing or something, because she thought that she was trying to just get her to talk to her, or something like that. I'm probably misquoting, but if you guys watch this full interview, you might be able to catch it.
Just to you?
I think so. Because, you know, you heard of secondary
I
drowning,
said, I
right?
always call
Yeah.
this baby. Whenever she heard my name,
or not.
Secondary drowning, which is what, like,
Where you swallow so much water and then later on, if you don't get it all out or something.
See, like, did you notice when JLR, like, what's that? And she, like, that's what the thing is, like, they were watching YouTube and Facebook, like we've said, like her talking about secondary drowning. Yeah, Hello Water said, okay, now I'm a little worried that something happened to Summer before she got home, if this is true. Everything after H is dropped off is wishy-washy. I don't know. Something happened after, I don't know. I did see, I forgot to tell you, CDT, a very slowed down version of the truck video, and I do believe that is a Sonic Cup. Remember, like, we were debating the certainty of it, and I think they did go to Sonic. For sure. I mean, I know everyone kind of knew that. But yeah, the video showed like a red straw. And I know people were saying that they'd seen it and it was, but I just wanted to let her let her know live right now that I did see it. Oh my gosh, my voice sounding froggy like these ladies. Hang on.
She left a lot of outside people that were, she was clinging onto.
Did Hunter say like anything was going on in the car? Like she was, did you ask him? Like, was she alive? Was she awake?
He wasn't in the right state of mind when he came back, Ellie.
He wasn't talking. Like,
No.
I asked him how it was.
Okay, JLR asked a good question. What did he say a state of mind of what Summer was in, like when he got drop off? And according to H's dad, Andrew, I did a video on it. You could check it out. H's dad says Summer was breathing when they dropped him off. And now here she's saying that he wasn't saying anything. Could mean nothing. Yeah, exactly. Everything that they were saying to Teresa in the interview with Teresa from Criminality was stuff from social media.
He said, fine. And then I didn't know anything about the alcohol at that time. His girlfriend's mom picked him up about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And when she came back with him, she goes, I got something to tell you. Hunter's got something to tell you. I'm like, what? He goes, Candace gave me alcohol.
In those puff
That day?
Yes.
Yes.
And puff bars
Puff
at the.
Swimming hole?
Yep. I said, what?
What kind of alcohol?
It was supposed to tease.
So I don't know. Even in my theories and what's on the table for me, Summer drinking alcohol that day is definitely on the list of possibilities. I mean, we have college students that die from like alcohol abuse. You know, it happens. Was Summer being given alcohol that day? You know? Have you ever seen somebody with alcohol poisoning? They're literally like incapacitated. You guys know. Like, did something that for me is on the table that Summer possibly was given alcohol that day.
Stop bars. They are able to.
Why would she do that?
Why not? And the kids all like him.
All the kids do them around here. Like,
So is it possible Hunter was under the influence
Yes. I believe so. I really do.
and really didn't know if Candace or if
She said that he was like
He-
not himself.
He was not himself. I knew something was wrong.
He said.
And he will not talk. He's scared shitless. Maybe they threatened him because I know them to threaten kids and they threaten my grandkids and shit.
Later on that night, Hunter shut down, and I didn't even know anything. And he had texted his girlfriend something. Her mom called me. I spazzed. Hunter was not himself. I called him a friend of mine because Grandma was home.
Yeah, she didn't come get me.
Yep.
I had to put my very close back.
Oh my
on.
God! Even you're almost in tears.
And I said, "What's wrong? You want to talk to me?" He was out of it or nothing. He was just sitting there rocking back and forth. My homegirl had to come.
So Hunter's sitting there rocking back and forth the night that Summer went missing and stuff. So as far as an accident obviously being on the table, CDT says, I agree. I'm starting to lean towards it was an accident, but obviously have no idea. There are so many factors. I agree. Hollow Waters said, I could see that as a possibility, which really makes Candace look bad and something happened there. Exactly. And Don didn't seem too convincing. Remember when Brian Enton from News Nation interviewed him? And he was like, that awkward moment when he brought up like the drug abuse or in drinking, and Don was like, no, no, we can't go there. And it was like all awkward because it's like, dude, Don, just admit it. Like, you guys have a problem. You know, like that's why you lost your children, like the boys in reference. So yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. But anyway, so in that interview, it didn't sound convincing to me when they said when Brian was like, is it possible that an accident happened and she just didn't say anything? And he's like, no, Candace would know better than that. Would she? Would Candace do the right thing? I just don't know, because in the same breath, in the same interview, he said the only mistake she made was making a few wrong friends. Oh, how convenient that her mistake has something to do with other people. So it's almost like pointing the finger while also saying Candace made a mistake. And her mistake had nothing to do with her own personal problems. It was somebody else. She made wrong friends. It's just very it's very convenient, for their reasoning an excuse. So I'm not really, I don't know.
We had all we could do to get him out of the house. I was in film at this table. I had to call TVI back up. You think he was trying? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Something
definitely.
happened at that water hole that he
I
saw.
think he sobered up or whatever you want to call it. And remember, maybe she did.
So H was in such bad condition. Allie called TBI back and told them that he was traumatized. And Sherry's over here saying she thinks that he sobered up and remembered something. Caroline says, I lean towards the accident theory. Lots and lots of accidents, lots and lots of kinds of accidents, from innocent fall, from swing drowning issue, to less innocent like drug, alcohol, to calm the kids to real bad, died while being essayed. Yeah, I know. It's like so many levels and so many possibilities, and all those shouldn't be possibilities. Like, you should be able to think like, no, I don't think this is possible. We've looked at this, we've looked at that. But yeah. Amanda said makes H saying she went underwater relevant again, and maybe he wanted to blame dry drowning. I don't know. It seems as though dry drowning is a very convenient theory for H and everyone involved. Like, they're really pushing that, it seems, ever since they came out on Unmasked and did the interview with Teresa from Criminality. It's like, I feel like they dropped that theory even with them early on. And that, of course, was already being talked about in Facebook groups. And I just would like to see the statistics on yearly dry drowning incidents. You know, like, in my mind, I think like it's more likely it's more not so innocent accident. Like, it was like with substances involved. But I don't know entirely if that's even what happened, but I don't know.
Drown there. Maybe she did.
He will not talk about it.
But he will not talk about it. He wasn't the same when he came back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And I get in trouble because he refused to go to school. Candace had received a phone call that day in the car.
No. Candace.
Oh, the day after he was interrogated, we were interrogated by TBI. Candace had a multiple shoulder. What her grandmother? Well, with her mother. I'm in the bathroom, so I can't.
The day after Candace talked to TBI, she came here with Grandis. Right? She said the day after Candace talked to TBI, not, oh crap. What did I just do? Hold on. Hit an ad.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise. I know this is hard to hear, but it's
Oh, the day after he was interrogated, we were interrogated by TBI. Candace had a multiple shoulder.
Who was interrogated? I can't understand her. Can you hear that?
Yeah. And by the time I got out here, they were already left. I said, what did she say to you? What did they say to you? Did they threaten
I'm trying to figure out who was interrogated.
you? Already left. I said, what did she say to you? I'm like, who's here? He's like, Candace. Oh, the day after he was interrogated, we were interrogated by TBI.
She said he, meaning H, and then she said we were interrogated by TBI.
What's her grandma? Well, I'm in the bathroom, so I can't call myself dressed.
She is going number 2 in the bathroom when Candace and Grandis show up, and she can't know what's being said between H and Candace, conveniently.
You want to take the toilet with me? And I said, Hunter, I'm like, who's here? He's like, Candace. Yeah. And by the time I got out here, they were already left. I said, what did she say to you? What did they say to you? Did they threaten you? He goes, no, Mom, it's good. He goes, all they did was ask me what I did.
Okay, first off, why would she think that Candace was threatening H? First thing, why would she think? Were they threatening you? Why? Does H know something? I thought H just got dropped off. Didn't notice that before. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, because she came back to the house the next day. Right. And she asked him what he told the police. Right. If she knew H knew something, she could have that on her radar for sure, in my opinion, CDT said. Yeah, exactly, Tink. Tinky Tink, why would they have a need to threaten him if he knew nothing? Exactly, if he just got dropped off. Because remember, Candace said, "You're not coming over, sorry." And she dropped him off. So why would Allie think that they came over here to threaten H? Oh my gosh. Okay, and this is all being said after they're talking about H being traumatized about something. So are we to assume something happened before H got dropped off?
told the TV, they said that I can tell them because they're the ones that sent me. I said, first of all, I don't think they're the ones that sent them here. I said, you're on a YouTube.
And Candace told H that TBI sent her there. Is that what she's just said?
On a YouTube, you're on YouTube and a TikTok video. It was I can tell because they're the ones that sent me. I said, first of all, I don't think they're the ones that sent them here. I said, you're on a YouTube. You're on YouTube in a TikTok video. It was a matter of time before they came and got you because I was gonna call them myself and tell, hey, look, my son was with them that day. Like he's the one that's in the TikTok video because everyone's questioning who's this boy that's in the TikTok video.
And they probably did threaten them because they threatened. We had an incident. I had it.
Like he's the one that's in the TikTok video because everyone's questioning who's this boy that's in the TikTok. Before they came and got you because I was gonna call them myself and tell, hey, look, my son was with them that day. It's good. He goes, all they did was ask me what I told the TBI because they said that I could tell them because they're the ones that sent me. I said, first of all, I don't think they're the ones that sent them here. I said, you're on YouTube in a TikTok video. It was a matter of time before they came and got you because I was gonna call them myself and tell, hey, look, my son was with them that day.
Okay, so I just had to replay that a little bit. It sounds to me like Allie didn't reach out to law enforcement. They got a hold of her and H first. Because H is saying that he thinks that they sent him there. And she's saying, no, it was only a matter of time. You're on the TikTok video. And everyone was saying, who's this boy in this TikTok video? Otherwise, I was going to get a hold of them and say, hey, my son was with them that day. So it does seem as though she found out that Summer was missing from, grapevine, and then talked to Candace, confirmed it, seen it on social media, confirmed it. Didn't get a hold of law enforcement. They got a hold of H and her. And then the next day or whatever, H is saying whatever and says, I think that Candace sent them over here. And she's saying, no, it was only a matter of time. You're on a TikTok video. So, why didn't Allie reach out to law enforcement first? When she's seen on social media, oh my gosh, she is missing. Why didn't you call up that tip line or whatever right then and there and say, oh my gosh, we were there with her today. Like, we were last to see her, I think. I don't know. Just really seemed as though, and did you guys also get that vibe that they were found by law enforcement? And then they were wondering why they were found, or H was wondering specifically, and she says it was only a matter of time. You're in the TikTok video.
Like he's the one that's in the TikTok video because everyone's questioning who's this boy that's in the TikTok video.
And they probably did threaten him because they threatened. We had an incident. I had an incident with him.
Have you guys thought about getting him into a psychiatrist?
You had an incident with him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And CPS came and
So I hear the conversation in the background, and they're saying that H is getting help now for his trauma, like whatever he's traumatized over. And here Sherry is saying that she believes for sure that they did threaten H. So then this almost, if we are to believe all this and that H is traumatized because of something he saw, then something happened at that water hole. Then you almost have to like narrow it down to like, okay, an accident did happen, or, you know, something, maybe not an accident. Who knows? I don't know. But I don't know. Like, I always kind of like thought, like, are they just being dramatic about something like with H happening, like where he was traumatized? But it just seems more and more like something happened that sent him spiraling.
they came down to interrogate my granddaughter.
I really would like to
Matter of fact, Candace's mother wanted to take my oldest granddaughter outside. My oldest granddaughter flipped her wig and slammed the door, cussed her out.
Candace's
Mother. And Candace, and she ran off, and she goes, well, your granddaughter ran off. And I said, she's fine, and she'll come back. I said, what did you say to her? Well, she goes, I just said that, asked her what she said. I asked her what she said to CPS. I said, what do you mean? If you got nothing to hide, this is before even Summer came up missing. This had to deal with giving kids weed, because a phone call came in from CPS saying that I was giving the kids weed. My grandkids said no, it wasn't me, it was Candace. And so she came down to
So at one point it was a he said, she said about kids getting a hold of weed, and it was pinned on Sherry, and her grandkids are saying no, it was Candace. So okay. We've already heard that Don was given his son's weed, and people had seen that. So it's just like another confirmation. And this is like a CPS report. So there is a paper trail of this.
threatening my granddaughter.
No, I get it.
So now,
I don't blame you.
when they did this with her, before Summer even came up missing, I was really mad.
We've been going to restaurants. Everywhere we went in City Hall, we went to police, everywhere. So we were so happy too. And we thanked people for having it up. We were so appreciative. But the only time we were denied any sort of access was at the church. They saw us, and then they.
What was spots that Don Wells and and Candace would frequent down here, like places?
Warriors Park.
Yeah.
We
That
went
was a
down
big
there, and
hangout.
then there's another one, Laurel Run, but they never really took that one.
No, it was
And
always
there's trails up there.
Is there a story behind Sonic? Because someone keeps telling me to check out a person that works at Sonic. Nope. No, okay. I don't know anything
I don't know
about that.
anybody.
Were you surprised when you found out they didn't go fishing?
I was like, well, what do you guys do? Oh, we went swimming.
So it went from fishing to swimming.
Yeah. Because I guess her daughter wanted to go swimming because it was hot out.
She loved the water.
She was a water guy.
And right where they usually went fishing is right where the
It seems like Summer was comfortable in the water too. Like I get the vibe that she was a decent swimmer. Does anyone else get that vibe?
kids would go swimming. They go swimming in this park, and then walk around the base, and then go further down a little bit. And that's when
When we went swimming with them one time, I didn't go in the water, but I taught my grandkids how to swim and tread water if they ever got out where it was too deep. This little girl went out deep, and I said, Candace, she's gonna go down the river in the current. Oh no, she's okay.
she's coming right now. I'm coming back up. You're gonna go okay.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta hold my hands. My hands are cool. My hand.
Okay, so that was the end of that. All right, now switching gears. What'd you guys think of all that? Did it sound believable to you? And you know what else I noticed? A lot of what Jose says was aligning very much like almost word to word of like Ellie. Like when he was like, it makes me sick seeing them on YouTube. It just seems like, I don't know, like certain things were like aligning very much with what like Ellie has said. I don't know. Um, what else? What else? What else? Now we're going to go into the theory that is also on the table, although I think that it's a lower probability as other theories on the table of her wandering off. And okay. Let me just share my screen. This is sort of a good thing to kind of start this off with because Don's first statement, it's not on camera. And it kind of ties in the dog trail too, which is something that I've been researching. No. Okay. Don Wells, Summer's father, said in a statement to WJHL that Summer would never leave our hill and that he believed someone snuck up on her and grabbed her. And everyone knows that they've been running with this theory that she was abducted since, this is the very first statement. Okay, quote, we know that there's people praying all around the world, praying for her safe return. So many people love her. She would never leave our hill. I think that someone snuck up on her and grabbed her. I don't think she's in the area because the dog goes down to the road and that's the end of the trail. But I don't know that for a fact. That the way she disappeared, she would never do that. Okay, so early on, the theory that, she would never leave their house, she would never leave our hill, someone snuck up on her and grabbed her, never leave our hill, someone snuck up on her and grabbed her. The dog goes down the road and that's the end of the trail, but I don't know that for a fact. So his first statement to the media has the dog trail theory, the abduction theory, and letting us know that she would never leave the hill. Okay. And yeah, it pretty much contradicts Jose's saying, which is why I've kind of had to explore this theory on the table of her wandering off. Jose says that there's been times where she would just, walk out there like free reign out the back door. She was able to unlock it. She was able to get out there. And, that's why they had the couch there because they didn't want the kids going out. Summer was smart. She'd gotten lost. But the parents are saying, very first statement, she would never do that. She would never wander off. Somebody grabbed her, somebody abducted her, somebody took her. And that's been what they've been shoving down everyone's throat. And here, I don't know it for a fact, but the dog goes down the trail and that's the end of the trail. So he's talking about the scent. Okay. So that's all I wanted to share on that page. Just remember, I don't think she's in the area. I don't think she's in the area because the dog goes down the road and that's the end of the trail. But I don't know that for a fact. That way she just disappeared. She would never do that. All right. What to play next? Okay, yeah, we'll just do this. You guys have seen this, but it's interesting. Actually, let me play the clips that I put together because it's sort of like a 9-month update because it's clips from Chris McDonough in the interview room and he's kind of going through, what his, ideas are on with like Don forcing the narrative of the dog trail, okay? And its scent and all that.
Could have fallen into, you know.
And then you got to go back to the dog stance technique.
So Chris McDonough is sharing a phone call with Mary, Don's stepsister, and Don, and he's just re-listening to it. And here's Don, reinforcing to his sister, no, because you got to remember the dog trail, the scent went down the dog trail.
Smelling her clothes and going straight down to Ben Hill Road, and then her scent disappears like she's thrown into a car.
Oh, right.
So the dog smelled her clothes, went down the road or the trail to the road like she's going into a car. And remember, law enforcement never said that theory. This is just Don's theory, and this is, obviously Don never expected this call to go out, but this is what he wants his sister to think. And he's saying they smelled her, and then she went into a car, which goes into his theory of, somebody grabbed her.
Straight down to Ben Hill Road, and then her scent disappears like she's thrown into a car.
Oh, right. So they didn't.
She never goes down there.
So they didn't pick up her scent like across the road or down the road, just right.
They couldn't. They couldn't pick up her scent nowhere else except for a trail straight down to the road.
Wow.
And that was it.
Wow.
And from what I understand about them dogs, even if a person's carrying her out to the woods, she might drop a hair or a water droplet or a tear, and them dogs will find her. They're that good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've learned a little bit about, going through all this crap. I learned some things. And they've had.
Okay. That's how he just described the quote kidnapping of his daughter. To put her in that dungeon. In order for this to be a viable, this is where the suspect had opportunity. And he even talks about when in this call here, we're going to go through it. He even talks about when the scent goes down to the road, he puts it over there on that dog trail. So if there's ever another scent conversation on YouTube with Dawn, we can rest assured that is probably not truthful. Okay.
So I get the impression that Chris knows that like Don wants this narrative of she was abducted to stick very badly, that he's spun the narrative of the dog trail scent, and that means that she was taken. And I started thinking like, okay, well, I know for a fact that the sheriff has confirmed that the dog picked up her scent and that, it trailed off when it hit the road. But then I'm like, what am I not understanding here? And, just bear with me while we watch this. But I'm wondering, here, like why Chris is saying, like, if Don's saying it, you got to think that it's not truthful.
Probably 100% not truthful. And the authorities, I will bet you, in the long run, we will know for, whatever that fact base is of where a dog, scented. And bearing in mind always that she was all over that property, all over that property, chasing the babies, her brothers on the motorcycle, going down the road and then coming back up the road. So this is, pretty as a whole, okay? That he's sticking her in there constantly. And now we add, the layer
of, the last conversation or the last thing he remembers is skin to skin contact with her that morning. Okay.
Until now, I asked Sheriff Lawson about Wells' claims. Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes.
The dogs had a pretty good trail, a track for a little while, but then it disappeared. But they lost scent when they come to the road. And sometimes canines, they will lose the scent when it changes different type, whether it maybe went from the gravel to the pavement.
And did a neighbor hear a
scream and see what's going on? Because I have no clue, Because you just keep saying that she was taken, or somebody took her, or she was kidnapped. Or,
Yeah, because I know it for a fact.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is one of those real
Now, I asked Sheriff Lawson about Wells' claims. Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road?
So, sorry, I think I forgot to unmute. What I really want to hone in on is the fact that, he says, yeah, it did pick up her son and went down, to the road and lost it. But you have to remember the verbiage, okay? He then says a lot of times dogs will lose the scent once it changes from dirt to gravel, like the pavement changes. So this whole theory that her scent was picked up down the dog trail and then it dispersed when it hit the pavement means that she was put in a car, like Don is saying. Like, no, that's Don's theory. At this point, law enforcement is still saying no sign of abduction. So they obviously don't think that Don's theories, aligning with their evidence or their analysis of it. But also, you have to just remember what the sheriff says. And Don overheard this. He wasn't given this information. He overheard it when the night that they were looking for Summer. So why is Don listening in on what the authorities are picking up on? And why is Don just pushing these theories that it went for, or she went into a car? Okay, so let me just play that again.
The sheriff says yes.
The dogs had a pretty good trail, a track for a little while, but then it disappeared. But they lost scent when they come to the road. And sometimes canines, they will lose the scent when it changes different type, whether it maybe went from the gravel to the pavement.
And did a neighbor...
So pretty much that confirms that, like, yeah, it did have like a really good scent, but then it dispersed, when it hit the gravel. But that doesn't mean that they didn't, find it again, or, that pretty much didn't lead them to think that she was put in a car. Like, we just have to remember that that is Don's theory, and that's the narrative, like I just showed you very early on, that he's decided to push. And here, the sheriff was put under pressure by the media to like confirm, like, hey, is the dad being accurate telling this on the news that you guys had like a son, and then it like went into, or it dispersed, and it might mean that she was put in the car. And so the sheriff is saying, yeah, but when dogs change whatever they're smelling, sometimes the scent gets dispersed. So to me, it's like, yes, he's confirming that, but he's not saying that that is the theory that she was put in a car. The dog might have picked up her scent and Don didn't even know again, down the road or whatever. Like they have information on the investigation that they're not going to tell a suspect in the case, which would be Don Wells. Especially knowing that he was
and the weight that I gained from my pregnancy was
sorry
really
for this
slowing me
ad.
down.
These
That's
ones are
why
like
I called
impossible
Dr.
to
Bragg.
skip to.
Dr. Bragg will personalize a plan for you, and his free consultation will even help. What do you have to lose except the weight?
County Sheriff is talking about details in the Summer Wells investigation. He hasn't done it yet until now. Her father is also showing us a path he claims, a little used path, he claims a kidnapper used to abduct his daughter and then disappear without a trace.
Our Erica Lunsford walked that trail with Don Wells and sat face to face with Sheriff Ronnie Lawson in a WVLT exclusive interview.
Now 114 days after the little girl was reported missing. Erica, you've learned a lot. Tell us more.
That's right. Summer's father tells me he believes the trouble started at the basement door, a door he says her brothers often left.
I just really think this was a very interesting interview. It shows you the likelihood that, a 5-year-old child was grabbed and then like dragged down. It doesn't seem likely to me. And it almost seemed like the reporter felt the same way. It seems like maybe even Don was on something, maybe substance at the time. He seems like all over the place. I don't know if you guys will get the same vibe. You've probably already seen this. But also there's like a part where there's like a man standing, and I think it's Tim Mullen, but you guys let me know. Hang on.
Left unlocked and wide open.
And we'd get on them a lot, and so you can't do that, but it just, we'd always find it open a lot of times and stuff. And so we tried to control that, but to know, they couldn't control it 100% of the time.
Dawn Wells tells me Summer was last seen going to the basement to play with her toys. Her 3 older brothers upstairs, her mother and grandmother in the yard facing away from the basement door, and Dawn Wells at work.
We don't know if someone was waiting in the basement or if she come outside here and went to the swing. All we know is she went down the basement.
Wells says he believes someone was lurking at the top of a dog trail, just feet away from the basement door. He says the predator somehow managed to snatch Summer, then raced down the steep hill as she struggled.
I guess you guys want to walk down through here?
The trail was not an easy walk. To get down the rugged hill, trail was
through here.
Do you see that guy? Is that Tim Mullen? Like, who is that strange guy? Hold on, let me just go back and we'll see it again.
Walk down through here.
First off, Dawn sounds very out of breath. Second off, it's just, it's so quick. He's like looking in their direction, and then as soon as the camera gets to him, he looks away. It's just very, very strange. And if it's Tim, then it's very creepy.
I guess you guys want to walk down through here.
The trail was not an easy walk.
Not an easy walk. And like, trust me, just watch her, like the reporter, you can just tell, like, she's not buying the theory that, she was taken down this. He's got to really sell the whole, her scent was found here and then she was thrown in a car. He's got to sell that on the news right now. Like, he's already tried to like drop that hint along the way anyways, to family and his first statement about the dog trail. And then he said, I don't know that for a fact.
To get down the rugged hill, Wells and I had to hold on to trees. I struggled not to trip or even fall on tree roots.
And you can slide a little bit.
So the dogs kind of came down this trail here.
Yeah.
It's pretty steep.
Yeah. I didn't know the dogs even had a trail down through here till the police dogs followed it all the way to the road.
Will says he overheard authorities say search dogs followed Summer's scent down the trail.
So Wells said he overheard authorities say they found her scent down the trail. So Don's listening in.
To the road before losing it. He painted a vivid picture of a kidnapping, telling me a neighbor likely heard Summer scream.
I think whoever grabbed her probably had her mouth covered, and I think she was gasping for air by the time she got down through here somewhere, because our neighbor heard a scream, a really funny scream. I think they just carried her to a vehicle and threw her in there and took her.
Interesting how he says gasping for air. And then says because our neighbor heard us scream. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would she be gasping for air? And then also that would mean that she let out a scream. I don't see how the two correlate. Did you guys hear that? Just seems very much Don and them want this. Yes. Oh my gosh. Just doing me. I was just thinking that. And he had this entire time so many. Remember when Candace Wells said smothered? Yeah, maybe after the scream you'd be gasping for air. Oh, is that what he meant? She must have been gasping for air. Hold on.
The neighbor heard a scream, had her mouth covered.
Scream.
I think whoever grabbed her probably had her mouth covered, and I think she was gasping for air by the time she got down through here somewhere, because our neighbor heard a scream, a really funny scream. I think they just carried her to a vehicle and threw her in there and took her somewhere far away from here.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has not publicly commented on specifics of the case until now. I asked Sheriff Lawson about Wells' claims. Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes.
The dogs had a pretty good trail, a track for a little while, but then it disappeared. But they lost scent when they come to the road. And sometimes canines, they will lose the scent when it changes different type, where they maybe went from the gravel to the pavement.
And
So then he just says the scream from the neighbor was unfounded. But do you guys understand where I'm kind of getting at? Like, about the whole dog scent thing? Like, he does, say, like, yeah, they had a pretty good scent, and then they lost the scent when the dogs got to the pavement. Sometimes that happens. Like, that does not mean that she was thrown into a truck or a car like Donna's painting. Like, they're still saying no sign of abduction. So I just think that, before everyone just kind of falls for this whole Don theory that he's been pushing the whole time, you have to also think about the verbiage that the sheriff is saying. And he's not saying that they're just ignoring, like, it's not like they know about Don's theory of this happening and they're just ignoring it. Like, they've probably heard Don say it. I mean, obviously, because the sheriff was on this segment too. And they're just like, no sign of abduction. I mean, it's the same thing. It's you got to look further than what Don is saying, and even what law enforcement is saying. They're not going to show their entire cards. Okay, so in looking further into the theory that she wandered off, I found this in my files.
A while there, she would run off, and at church she would even, play that hide and go seek thing. But So that's why we was trying to teach her not to run off because of, we got bears and all kinds of stuff going on up here. We just didn't realize how bad it was up here though. Yeah.
So suddenly, for some reason, Dawn kind of switched up that she would run off. Um, but okay, so I just kind of had to throw that in there because we were leaving it on the table that did she wander off? Now we're going to show, what do I have? The December statement that TBI made.
I'm Leslie Earhart with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. 6 months ago, 5-year-old Summer Wells was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in Hawkins County. The case remains unsolved and weighs heavily on those working to find answers. Today, the investigation remains active and ongoing as TBI agents work alongside the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI to determine what happened to Summer. Investigators have executed numerous search warrants, collecting all potential evidence. We've spoken with anyone and everyone associated with the Wells family, in some cases more than once. This includes neighbors, acquaintances, and those working in the area the day she disappeared. We've used a plane, helicopters, divers, canines, and every resource available to us during search efforts. Despite the countless hours of tireless work, the circumstances surrounding her disappearance remain unclear. At this time, there is no evidence that she was abducted. However, all avenues continue to be explored, including foul play and the very real possibility that she wandered off and became lost in the mountainous and rough terrain surrounding her home. We are asking anyone who saw Summer at any time on Tuesday, June 15th to come forward if they haven't done so already. We appreciate the public's ongoing interest in this case and urge anyone with credible information to call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
So, that was December TBI statement. Main things surrounding information surrounding Summer Wells' disappearance remain unclear. Foul play was on the table, as well as a possibility that she did wander off. And, if law enforcement is saying that that's a possibility, then you know what? We'll have to leave it on the table as a possibility. And what can we do as at that point? They haven't found her. So then you start to wonder, like, okay, well, how reliable are these scents? Can they smell decomposition, and how close can the dogs be, and this and that? And you just go into these like rabbit holes, like even her scent, like out there when they found it on the dog trail before it dispersed when it got to the pavement. That can live on a surface for a dog to smell up to 14 days. But a lot of it is just disintegrated by, day 5. It's just best to get it prior to that point. But yeah, so we just go down and look at the reliability of dog scent. What do you guys think? Do you think that, it says here they can follow a trail more than 130 miles. They have 300 million scent receptors. That's the highest number of scent receptors among all dog breeds, and this is the bloodhound. They've used numerous different types of canine teams for this. They've used federal resources too. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that... Hang on one second. Do you think that although it's a possibility that she wandered off, do you think that it's probable that they would have found her by now? Like, I just feel like the dogs teams and the search teams, but specifically the dogs, would have found something of her by now. Piece of clothing, hair, something. Okay, some experts believe that scent can last up to 14 days, whereby they can be picked up by a trailing dog. Other experts believe most smells dissipate by within 5 days. At the extreme, there are experts that say odor remains detectable for years. There is truth in all these perspectives. Why? A very viable scent is different from breed to breed and dependent upon environmental conditions. Wow, that is really fascinating when you think about it. How far away can a dog pick up a scent? It's no secret that dogs have fantastic sense of smell. They track smells not only on land, but in the air and underwater as well. In fact, their olfactory system works so well that they can detect scents that are diluted 1 to 2 parts per trillion. How do police dogs pick up a scent? Oh, the Belgian, I don't know, Malinois is currently the most common breed used in police work. They track a scent by putting their nose to the earth to detect human skin particles that have fallen to the ground or onto shrubbery. These dogs are often cross trained, which means they can track as well as humans. They can also detect substances such as explosive, currency, blood, and contraband electronics such as illicit movie devices. How far can a canine smell? The German Shepherd is a breed that often comes to mind when we hear the term canine or canine dog. Their outstanding ability to track a scent not only on the ground but in the air and underwater as well makes them a top choice for a service dog. They will pursue a scent trail anywhere from 5 days to 2 weeks, depending on circumstances. Aww. A canine police dog is so well trained with a super sensitive nose that they can smell a single marijuana seed, not the bud, up to 15 feet away. Wow, that is truly amazing. It can also detect marijuana residue on human clothing that smoked 2 nights before. Oh, crap. Canines can even smell fear, not the emotion itself, but the physical manifestation of fear. This includes an increase in sweat or body odor emitted when a person is feeling nervous, anxious, or afraid. What factors affect how long a dog can pick up a scent? The main factors that affect how long a dog can pick up a scent include the following: genetics, environmental factors. These weather conditions can also often affect a dog's ability to track a scent: air temperature, precipitation, rain and snow, humidity, and wind conditions. Okay, well, we know that there was humidity. We know that it was super rainy on day, I think on the 21st it rained. Precipitation is the most significant factor. This is because smells in the air and on land can get diluted with increased air moisture, making them more difficult for dogs to track. Let me see what you guys are saying. So what do you guys think? Do you think they would have found a trace of her by now? Yeah, Sally said they would have found something had she been there. Yes, I feel if she was around there, we would have had some evidence, Tinky said. Caroline said wandering off on her own, she probably would have been found by now. Seems dogs would be able to follow. I agree. Yeah. If she was around, yeah. She's not around there, people are saying. Yes, for sure she'd be found. All right. All right. So, in conclusion, 9-month mark. Okay. We know that the boys are in a better position without being in that home. We know that there was drugs and crazy sexcapades going on up there with the adults with each other, and you cheated and they cheated, and everyone wants everybody. Grandis wanted in on it. We believe a lot of what Jose was saying, but some of it just was like, okay, we've already heard this before. We still don't understand why there's a discrepancy in timelines of when Jose was down there. Just a lot of questions like, why are people not being completely honest? But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty much a lot of information to soak in, but it leads us still with many questions and not a lot of answers. But I really appreciate you guys going through all these updates with me. And while it is on the table that, it is a possibility she wandered off, because law enforcement is saying like it is, a possibility. I don't think that it's probable. I think they would have found her by now. And I believed some of what Jose was saying, but not all of it. And yeah, there was another JLR video that I recommend you guys watch. It was put up before this Allie interview, and it was talking about where specifically they were when they did their last search. And I think he said it was near one of the neighbors' property. So there's that little update that you guys should go watch. It's a shorter video of his. I think it's like his version of the 9-month mark of Summer Wells being missing. So I thought it was a little bit informative. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight, and thank you so much. And we will talk very, very soon. And hopefully, next time we talk, we have more answers than questions. So, okay. Goodbye.